The 1980s were not only a period of vibrant music and bold fashion, but also a culinary era full of strange experiments. From green ketchup to edible straws and clear Pepsi, this decade produced many unforgettable disasters at the dinner table. Today, let's review the 20 worst foods of the 80s, names no one truly wants to see return. Cereal straws. What if I told you there was an edible straw and every sip of milk you took tasted like your favorite sweet cereal? In the 1990s, this delicious, convenient, unique idea emerged under the name cereal straws. The idea sounded clever. Enjoy cereal and milk simultaneously without a spoon, and your milk would taste delicious with your favorite sugary cereal. However, this convenience quickly turned into a mess. The biggest problem was that these straws quickly became soggy and fell apart when saturated with milk. As a result, you were left not only with a half-eaten straw, but also found sugary residue and cereal bits floating in your milk. Furthermore, the flavor was not always as well transmitted as expected. Fortunately, these cereal straws have not made a widespread return to the market. Their failure is a reminder that you shouldn't try to cram everything in at once. Excessive convenience and speed sometimes lead to a less than desirable outcome. Surely, you wouldn't want your breakfast to start your day off in a chaotic way, would you? Oreo Big Stuff. Do you remember when Oreo decided that bigger was always better? That was the moment Oreo Big Stuff exploded onto the snack market. This product was a supersized, colossal version of the beloved classic cookie, promising more chocolate and more cream than ever before. The idea sounded appealing, especially to chocolate and sweet cream enthusiasts. However, reality didn't live up to the dream. These colossal cookies quickly proved to be more cumbersome than fun. Their oversized nature made them difficult to handle and impractical to eat. Can you imagine a child trying to bite into an Oreo 3 times the size of their mouth, or an adult struggling to dunk it into a glass of milk without spilling? This very inconvenience led to a messy and impractical snacking experience. Instead of a moment of enjoying delicious chocolate and cream, you found yourself wrestling with your giant cookie. Oreo Big Stuff had a brief stint on the market before quickly fading into obscurity. Its disappearance is a clear reminder that bigger isn't always better, especially with classics that are already perfect like Oreo cookies. Heinz EZ Squirt colored ketchup. What does ketchup look like to you? A shimmering, smooth red tomato liquid with a subtly sweet tomato flavor, perfect for dipping. Yet, the 1980s saw the birth of Heinz EZ Squirt-colored ketchup in green, shocking pink, or even mysterious purple. This ambitious product was launched with the goal of making meals more fun for children. Its easy squeeze bottle design, perfectly shaped for small hands, was also a convenience plus. Advertisements even featured famous characters like Shrek to promote their blastin' green ketchup, making children even more curious and eager to try it. However, behind the novelty and vibrant colors was a less appealing truth. To achieve those odd colors, Heinz had to remove the tomato's natural red color and added tons of artificial dyes. This not only changed the appearance, but also had a significant impact on the flavor of the ketchup. Ketchup without a tomato taste? Sounds ridiculous. Flavor quality was sacrificed for color, quickly placing Heinz EZ Squirt-colored ketchup on the list of the era's worst foods. It's a prime example of how sometimes you shouldn't change things that are already classic and deeply etched in people's minds. Have you ever tried this colored ketchup? Or what do you think about this novel idea? Share your story below. Dr. Pepper Gum. Dr. Pepper Gum, upon its market release, advertised its ability to fully recreate the distinctive, complex flavor of Dr. Pepper soda. This gum boasted a liquid center specifically designed to replicate Dr. Pepper's unique, special flavor, promising consumers a novel and nostalgic sensory experience. However, the promise of a long-lasting flavor experience was not delivered. Many who tried it were disappointed to find that this gum's flavor was surprisingly short-lived, quickly fading after just a few chews. While a hint of the characteristic flavor might be felt initially, it quickly disappeared, leaving a bland and unsatisfying sensation. Some even felt that this gum didn't quite capture the true essence of Dr. Pepper, leading to a feeling of letdown and dissatisfaction. It felt as if you had just tasted a bit of the anticipated flavor, only for it to vanish into thin air. Dr. Pepper gum failed to win consumers' long-term affection. Its novelty quickly wore off, and it was soon relegated to the category of forgotten snacks. This is a testament to how transforming flavors from one product form to another is not always successful, especially when the essence of the flavor cannot be maintained. Hi-C Ecto-Cooler drink. If you grew up in the 1980s, you surely remember the Ghostbusters brand explosion. And one of the most prominent spin-off products of that time was Hi-C Ecto-Cooler drink. This was a brightly colored beverage, heavily advertised as a tie-in to the beloved animated series. Its purpose was to capture the imagination of both children and Ghostbusters fans, hoping to deliver a colorful and fun drinking experience tied to the friendly, ghostly world. However, Ecto-Cooler quickly faced criticism for its overpoweringly sweet taste. Many described its flavor as artificial and cloying, a drink you could only take a few sips of before feeling full or even uncomfortable. Perhaps the excessive emphasis on marketing and promoting the Ghostbusters brand inadvertently overshadowed the actual product quality. Instead of a refreshing fruity flavor, consumers received a cup of liquid sugar with nothing special beyond its vibrant color and ghostly packaging. This product failed to win over discerning palates and quickly became synonymous with flashy marketing tactics but bland flavor. To this day, very few people actually want to see the return of Hi-C Ecto-Cooler because memories of that artificial sweetness are still deeply imprinted in many minds. Banquet Boil-in-Bags. This was a grand invention, at least in terms of concept. Banquet Boil-in-Bags looked nothing short of culinary magic from the old days. Everything from golden fried chicken and fragrant turkey to hot steak was neatly packaged in a bag. Just drop the whole bag into boiling water, wait a few minutes, and a home-cooked dinner was ready. Banquet proudly claimed they used ingredients as good as you'd buy yourself, turning cooking time into a light stroll instead of a strenuous kitchen shift. However, that convenience came with a major quality issue. A common complaint about Banquet Boil-in-Bags was their soggy texture due to boiling the entire meal together in the bag. Instead of ingredients retaining their crispness and distinct flavors, vegetables and proteins often became overcooked and mushy, losing their original texture and becoming less appealing. Their flavor also often blended strangely, leading to a bland and unappealing flavor profile. You can imagine a soggy piece of turkey along with mushy vegetables, everything blending into an indistinct flavor. That was truly a major disappointment. The product failed to deliver on its promise of a satisfying dining experience. Their soggy texture and indistinct flavor ultimately placed them on the list of the worst foods, a testament that convenience sometimes cannot replace quality and an authentic dining experience. Which of the above dishes impressed you the most? Is there any dish you think could still be acceptable for use? Crystal Pepsi, clear Pepsi. Imagine a cola that's clear. That was the groundbreaking idea behind Crystal Pepsi, a clear cola launched in 1992, though its concept emerged from the late 1980s. It was advertised as a revolutionary departure from traditional sodas, a whole new cola experience, a totally different soft drink with a unique cola flavor. It was believed that removing artificial colors would appeal to health-conscious consumers, offering a purer feel. However, the truth was quite harsh. Many who tried Crystal Pepsi found that its flavor was too similar to regular Pepsi. This led to confusion and a lack of clear differentiation in consumers' minds. You paid money for a unique product, but ultimately tasted only the familiar, which was disappointing. Additionally, some consumers simply didn't like the idea of a clear cola. They associated the color of a drink with a lack of flavor or unnatural ingredients, even if that wasn't necessarily true. The red color of cola was deeply ingrained, and a colorless cola seemed visually wrong. This product quickly lost its initial appeal and was discontinued just a few years after its launch. Crystal Pepsi failed to carve out a lasting niche in the highly competitive soda market, solidifying its position as one of the worst, or at least most unsuccessful, beverages of that era. Don't you think breaking tradition is never a good idea? Sloppy Joes in high school cafeterias. Oh, Sloppy Joes! This dish was once a familiar face, almost an indispensable icon in high school cafeterias in the 1980s. The image of a Sloppy Joe plate typically appeared midweek, carrying the promise of a quick lunch, consisting of ground meat and tomato sauce served on a soft bun. Many still remember Libby's flashy advertisements, featuring juicy lean meat mixed in appealing barbecue sauce, promising a completely new and convenient culinary experience. However, Sloppy Joes rarely generated excitement, let alone delight, from students. What made this seemingly simple dish a nightmare for many generations? It was the questionable meat quality. The ground meat sometimes had a mysterious appearance, its texture often described as something undefinable rather than actual meat, leading many to wonder if it was real meat at all. The sauce's flavor was also a vexing issue. It was often overly sweet to the point of being cloying or inexplicably bland, failing to achieve the ideal flavor balance one would expect from a dish. The disappointment also stemmed from the dish's unappetizing appearance, a messy concoction on the plate that made you not want to touch it. Sloppy Joe's reputation for mediocrity persisted throughout the 1980s, firmly holding a place on the list of the era's worst foods. Even now, not even a strong current of nostalgia can rescue Sloppy Joe's from its position as a culinary disappointment. Sizzlean. Sizzlean was a turkey-based bacon that made headlines in the 1980s, heavily promoted as a healthy alternative to pork bacon. Advertising campaigns even claimed it was real meat, no soy, no fillers, with Sizzlean promising significantly lower fat and calorie content. During a time when consumers were becoming more health conscious about their diet, this product quickly became a symbol of the less guilty yet flavorful eating trend. However, Sizzlean failed to win over the majority's taste buds. The core issue lay in its lacked flavor and texture compared to the rich, savory taste and crispy texture characteristic of traditional bacon. While bacon offered a satisfying crunch, Sizzlean's attempt to recreate that texture failed miserably. Instead, consumers were often disappointed with its chewy, rubbery, and unappetizing texture. It felt like you were eating something fake bacon without the familiar burst of flavor. Sizzlean struggled to compete with the strong appeal of traditional bacon, which was deeply ingrained in American culinary culture. Ultimately, this product was relegated to the ranks of forgotten foods, serving as a testament that sometimes healthier does not mean tastier, and trying to replace a classic is no easy feat. Ayds Diet Candy. Ayds Diet Candy entered the market as a promising weight loss aid with an appealing advertisement: still eat deliciously, but lose weight. The product was promoted with very confident slogans like, "I'm deliciously losing weight with the help of Ayds." The Ayds diet plan really works, creating an image of an easy and enjoyable weight loss solution. However, Ayds faced two major problems, and the second was a real PR disaster. First and foremost, many people who tried it commented that the candy's flavor was not pleasant. A candy designed to curb appetite tasting bad was clearly not beneficial for encouraging consumers to continue using it. But the real disaster came from a significant branding issue due to its unfortunate name similarity to the Ayds virus, which was receiving widespread public attention and concern at the time. This unwanted and deadly association led to a sharp decline in sales and public perception of the product. Ayds struggled to overcome this tarnished reputation and eventually faded into obscurity, becoming a classic cautionary tale of careless product naming. And in reality, scientific weight loss has always emphasized balanced eating, combined with effective exercise. Don't chase shortcuts that might harm your health. Pizza Hut's Bigfoot Pizza. Do you remember the anxiety of your favorite pizza mysteriously disappearing at childhood sleepovers? Pizza Hut tried to solve this problem with a gigantic solution: Pizza Hut's Bigfoot Pizza. This wasn't a typical round pizza. It was a giant rectangular pizza, 2 square feet wide, enough to feed a crowd with a total of 21 slices. Advertisements proudly declared it bigger than Pizza Pizza, accompanied by special offers to attract customers. However, the practicality of this giant pizza quickly vanished. Right from delivery, staff struggled to maneuver this colossal pizza through doorways, and even the most enthusiastic pizza lovers quickly realized it was too much to handle. Bigfoot Pizza's massive size also meant it cooked unevenly, leading to soft edges and a soggy middle. Biting into a pizza that wasn't crispy but rather moist in the middle was truly a disappointing experience. Additionally, topping variety was limited. You could only choose a maximum of 3 toppings across that entire large surface, which left those who preferred variety in each slice dissatisfied. Bigfoot Pizza eventually went extinct from Pizza Hut's menu, leaving a memory of a time when companies thought that bigger isn't necessarily better. It was a costly lesson in balancing innovation and practicality in the food industry. Steak-umm. For many busy families in the 80s, Steak-umm emerged as a promising option for convenient meals. This was thinly sliced frozen steak, advertised as being quick to prepare at home in just 60 seconds on a frying pan. The promise of steak's appeal without the hassle of fresh meat preparation made it a significant time-saving solution for busy households, offering a quick steak meal. However, that convenience came at a cost to quality. This product was often criticized for its bland flavor and sometimes chewy texture. Many consumers felt Steak-umm was a poor substitute for fresh steak, lacking the rich, deep flavor and juicy tenderness characteristic of a real steak. Instead of a delicious meal, you might find yourself chewing on a tough, unseasoned piece of meat that left no significant impression. This product failed to win over discerning palates, and ultimately, it was relegated to the list of worst foods in many people's memories. Lean Cuisine. Lean Cuisine launched as a convenient option for those seeking low-calorie frozen meals. It was advertised as a healthier alternative to traditional frozen dinners, promising portion-controlled options without sacrificing flavor. Even the examples sounded appealing, such as crispy panini with chicken, spinach, mushrooms, and Asiago cheese sauce, microwavable. However, the initial versions of Lean Cuisine received considerable criticism for their bland and unsatisfying flavor. Many consumers found that these meals lacked rich flavor and satisfying texture, leaving them feeling let down and disappointed after consumption. Instead of a light but delicious meal, you were faced with a lifeless plate of food that left no memorable aftertaste. It felt like you were eating just to fill your stomach, not to enjoy. Lean Cuisine's reputation for mediocrity persisted. This product failed to deliver on its promise of an enjoyable dining experience and was heavily criticized for its unappealing flavor and texture. Although improvements have been made over time, the initial impressions of a bland frozen meal are still deeply ingrained in many people's minds. The McDLT Burger. McDonald's has always been known for innovation, and the McDLT was a testament to that. This was a burger designed with a very clever idea. Keep the lettuce and tomatoes cool and crisp while the meat stayed hot by using an innovative packaging. The goal was to maintain the freshness of the toppings, ensuring every bite was perfect. However, this innovation brought more problems than benefits. McDLT's complex packaging, with 2 separate compartments to keep hot and cold, led to excessive waste and serious environmental concerns. In an era when environmental awareness was beginning to rise, a product that generated so much waste could not be accepted. Furthermore, although the idea was good, the overall flavor and quality of the McDLT did not meet many customers' expectations. They felt it needed more flavor and texture to be truly appealing. More importantly, this complex packaging also made it less convenient, which a fast food item should not be. You had to assemble your own burger, which went against the very meaning of fast food. Fruit Wrinkles, fruit snacks. Fruit Wrinkles emerged as a fruit snack aiming to capitalize on the health-conscious market segment. The product introduced itself as a more natural and healthier alternative to traditional sugary snacks, boasting a simpler ingredient list and promising real fruit flavor. Even the name Wrinkles suggested a seemingly natural and unique texture for the product. However, the promise of naturalness and health couldn't compensate for the shortcomings in the eating experience. Many tried it and found that the snack's texture was strange and unappealing, often described as chewy, rubbery, and not at all enjoyable. Instead of the fresh feeling of fruit, you felt like you were chewing on a piece of plastic. Furthermore, Fruit Wrinkles' flavor was also often criticized as bland and artificial, unable to deliver the vibrant and authentic taste of real fruit as advertised. The disappointment in both texture and flavor severely hurt its appeal. The product struggled to compete with other popular options in the snack market and was ultimately relegated to the ranks of the worst foods. Perhaps Fruit Wrinkles should be left in oblivion as a lesson that not every healthy endeavor succeeds if it sacrifices the taste experience. Carnation Breakfast Bar. In the increasingly busy pace of the 1980s, the idea of a quick and convenient breakfast was extremely appealing. The Carnation Breakfast Bar was created with the aim of providing a fast, nutritious breakfast solution for busy consumers, delivering essential nutrients in a portable form. The product was advertised with appealing slogans like, "Instant breakfast you can bite," "The new Carnation Breakfast Bar," "Smooth chocolate, crispy nuts," promising a delicious and energizing meal for a new day. However, the reality was not as delicious as advertised. One of the most common complaints about Carnation Breakfast Bars was their dry and crumbly texture. This made them difficult to eat, especially without a beverage to wash them down. You can imagine trying to chew a hard, dry cereal bar in the morning without water. That's truly a challenge. Additionally, these bars were often described as having an artificial taste and lacked a satisfying flavor of natural ingredients. Instead of smooth chocolate or delicious crispy nuts, you got an artificial taste sensation, which was not appealing at all. This product failed to win widespread consumer affection. Their bland, unappealing flavor and texture ultimately relegated them to the ranks of the worst foods. If this video has brought back interesting memories for you, don't forget to hit the video and to continue our journey of exploring nostalgic stories from the past. Bubblegum soda. Have you ever wondered if your favorite bubblegum flavor could be transformed into a soda to drink? That was the idea behind bubblegum soda, an attempt to leverage the popularity of bubblegum gum to translate this beloved flavor into liquid form. This product promised a unique and nostalgic drinking experience with catchy advertisements like, "Your bubble yum, real bubble yum is so good." We'll show you how we make it smoother. No doubt there's a better flavor to shout about. However, despite the idea sounding interesting, many who tried it found that the soda's flavor was strange or unappealing. It lacked the familiar and satisfying taste of the original bubble yum gum. The biggest problem probably lay in the conflict between the soda's carbonation and the distinct sweetness of the bubble yum flavor, leading to a disharmonious flavor experience. Instead of a refreshing and fun feeling, you were left with a confused taste, unsure if you were drinking soda or chewing liquid gum. The product failed to resonate with consumers and struggled to find a place in the beverage market. Its inability to capture the true essence of the beloved gum ultimately relegated bubble yum soda to the ranks of the worst foods and drinks. Sometimes, some flavors should just stay in their original product form rather than transforming inappropriately. Pudding Pops. In many people's memories, pudding pops were a beloved treat, evoking sweet childhood memories. They were frozen pudding on a stick, a new and convenient way to enjoy pudding. You could easily hear the familiar jingles in commercials. Jell-O pudding pops, Jell-O pudding pops, frozen pudding on a stick. You know, Jell-O pudding pops are a winner. The idea sounded so appealing, combining the convenience of a popsicle with the creamy smoothness of pudding. However, not all recollections of pudding pops are positive. Some were disappointed to find them more icy than expected, failing to live up to the promise of the creamy and rich texture characteristic of real pudding. Instead of a melt-in-your-mouth sensation, you might find yourself biting into small ice crystals. The flavor was also sometimes criticized as having an artificial taste, lacking the richness and authenticity of homemade pudding. This made the eating experience less fulfilling than expected and felt more like a knockoff dessert than a quality product. The product failed to meet some consumers' demands for replicating the deliciousness of creamy pudding. They were criticized for both texture and flavor, placing them among the less favored desserts in the long list of failed products from the 80s. Premio Italian sausage patties. For those who loved Italian flavors but dreaded the complexity of traditional preparation, Premio Italian sausage patties emerged as a convenient option. These were pre-packaged Italian sausage balls, promising rich Italian flavor without much effort. Although they didn't elicit the widespread contempt of some other foods, these sausage balls still faced criticism from a segment of consumers. The main issue many complained about with Premio Italian sausage balls was their greasy texture. Some found them too oily and heavy, creating a cloying feeling after eating. Instead of a light dish, you felt like you were consuming too much fat. Furthermore, the flavor of these sausage balls was often deemed artificial by critics, lacking the authentic, rustic, and rich taste of homemade Italian sausage. It felt like you were eating a lesser quality version, without the essence of Italian cuisine. Despite offering significant convenience, the greasy texture and artificial flavor of Premio Italian sausage balls ultimately earned them a place among the worst foods. Chef Boyardee. For many households, Chef Boyardee products held a prominent place, providing a quick, convenient, and affordable meal option, especially on busy days. This brand was ingrained in memory with advertisements like, "I've got everything you need for a great spaghetti dinner all in one package, nothing else needed." Chef Boyardee's complete spaghetti dinner with meat sauce. It promised a delicious meal without much effort. However, despite the convenience, Chef Boyardee items often faced criticism for their bland quality. The pasta in these canned meals often had a soggy, unappetizing, and overcooked texture, completely unlike al dente Italian pasta. The sauce was also a critical weakness. It was often ridiculed for being overly sweet and had a tinny taste from the can, lacking the depth, richness, and fresh flavor of homemade sauce. The combination of soggy pasta and poor quality sauce created a disappointing dining experience. Although providing a quick and easy solution for busy families, the soggy pasta and artificial tasting sauce ultimately earned Chef Boyardee products a place among the worst foods from the 1980s. Many people today prefer to leave these canned meals in the past and opt for fresher and more flavorful alternatives. Though they offered convenience or promised novel experiences, these foods failed to win over the palates of our generation. Do you remember any other worst foods from the 80s that you'd like to add to this list? Share your memories and thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to hit like on the video and subscribe to the channel to join us in exploring more nostalgic stories. Sometimes these failures are valuable lessons, shaping how we enjoy food today